Official pod is presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WynnBET. Eric Allen here inside the studio, joined by Jets center Connor McGovern. Connor, thank you so much for joining me today. First off, a lot of additions for the Jets here in the offseason, but you have a special one yourself, don't you?
Yep. Yeah. My wife and I had just brought home our first baby. We had a baby girl on 4/14. Got home from the hospital on Saturday, and just doing the dad life right now. I'll be back in Jersey and in the building next week.
What's her name and how is everybody doing?
Mom and baby are great. The baby's name is Dylan Lucy McGovern. And she was a big girl, measured 21 inches, 8 pounds, 15 ounces. So she was an ounce short of being a 9-pound baby. So, but
Wow.
happy and healthy. Yep, big girl.
Now, you're out west right now. The Jets off-season voluntary portion of the program started, but you have a good excuse here not to be here right now.
Yep, I got the blessing from the coaches to postpone it a week. It was actually – so we came over to the hospital on Saturday, and then it was Easter Sunday, and I'm from North Dakota, and a blizzard rolled through on Sunday. So even if I tried to get out on Sunday, there was no way I was getting out of here on Sunday. And then Monday, it was still pretty bad. So I wouldn't have been able to get there till, tonight anyways. And the coaches were like, you know what, enjoy being a dad for a week. And we'll see you next Monday. So the Jets were awesome about it.
So a guy from North Dakota, what is your definition of a blizzard?
It was only about 2 or 3 inches, which isn't a lot of snow volume, but it was windy, like 30, 40 mile an hour winds. The snow was blowing like crazy. Your visibility, is like a quarter of a mile or half a mile. So it's not great visibility. So it was if it was February, it would have been a pretty normal snow, light blizzard. But for April, it was a pretty big one. So.
But you're hanging out with your parents right now, so everybody's able to celebrate the new addition to the family. And also, you guys are going to have a new home. You're working on that, right?
Yep. Working on building a new home. So my dad likes to joke that his NFL son moved back home. We just kind of did the classic millennial thing, and we're living with my parents right now while our house is getting built here in Fargo.
Hey, man, it's been a busy off season for you on multiple fronts. What can you tell me about your participation in the Able Games, and what are the Able Games?
Yeah, so the Able Games is something that myself and Kim Platson over at TNT Fitness here in Fargo came up with. And it's a platform for people with all abilities to compete in a physical competition. Being an NFL football player, competition's kind of my life. It's something that I love, and I find something to compete in every day. I think everybody on the team or in the NFL is what you'd classify as ultra competitive, and you just love it. And so I got involved with the Special Olympics or special needs athletes through the Special Olympics in college. My good buddy Mitch Morris, who's a center in the NFL, got me involved with the Special Olympics in Missouri, who as a state has a phenomenal special needs or Special Olympics program. And so Kim was a family friend. Kim Platz is a family friend of my family. She reached out to my mom, was like, hey, does Connor have any interest in working with TNT, kind of being a spokesperson? And she didn't even know that I wanted to start working with people with special needs. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to. We kind of, brainstormed, came with the Able Games. And so it's the second year. We raised a ton of money, both the first year and the second year. And then actually organically through the competition and the classes that TNT does for athletes with special needs, we have now started Able, which is a PE curriculum that the state of North Dakota is pretty much adopting as a whole. It'll be a PE curriculum. A student and an able-bodied and a special needs student can both get their required PE credits for a semester because they partner up, and then they go through our curriculum in a school year. So it's a way for us to get into and help as many people as we possibly can. We don't have to have everybody come to TNT to help them. So we're bringing the curriculum to the schools, also to gyms. So whether you're a CrossFit gym or any sort of fitness center, you can take our curriculum and have fitness classes for people with special needs, and everything's partnered because it's a great way to, get people working with people with special needs. Sometimes it can be intimidating. You don't want to, do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, but when you get working with them and really being around people with special needs, you really see the love that they bring and how special they are. I don't think I've ever seen anybody love the way a special needs person does. So, and then when they get to compete, to have a parent come up to you at the Able games and say, that, who, they've always wanted their son or daughter to compete in just like everybody else does, and to come up and tears in their eyes saying how awesome it was to finally get to see their child who's now maybe in their 20s finally get to compete, finally get to see the smile on the special needs athlete's face from competing. It's been truly special. And the final piece, actually, it's crazy how fast this has grown in 2 years, is Able Vocation. So right now in a special needs person, I like to call them athletes because the Able games, but when a special needs person is done with high school, they kind of just go to Medicaid right now, and there's not a great path for them. Like everybody else, you go to high school, then you go to college, or you go to a vocation school, and there's no real path for special needs people. So we're trying to build that path, because a lot of them are able to do a lot of things, and through the competition has really shown how able these people are and this demographic is. So it's been amazing. It's been incredibly fulfilling for my wife and I to be so involved in this and to see the way it's growing. So hopefully Able is in every state, in every PE class, and Able Vocation is in every state to help bring a workforce with the people with special needs and allow them to live that fulfilling life, through competing, through physical education, and then through a vocation. So we're just trying to give them the most fulfilling life we possibly can.
You mentioned Mitch Morse back at Missouri. Was there a specific child or a specific event or experience that you had in college where you said, hey, not only did I like participating in this and being involved, but this is something that I want to continue to do down the line?
Yeah, so during this competition, it was a weightlifting meet for the Special Olympics, and this athlete came up. The individual had to have been, I don't know, 180, 150 pounds. The coach helped walk them to the bench. They couldn't get to the bench on their own. They laid down, and I was on one of the sides loading weights and helping spot, and it was like 275. So it was like double their body weight, easily double their body weight on a bench. And, the coach, they laid down on the bench, was like, all right, are you ready? And they kind of give him a head shake and lays down and absolutely smokes like a 2x body weight bench. And I was like, holy moly, that is incredible. And that's kind of what did it for me. Like, just to see, something where I was like, there's no way this athlete's getting this bench. And then they just came down and absolutely smoked it. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And I think a lot more people need to experience this, because it's something that I had no idea that was there. And I think the word able comes because I use it all the time about how able these athletes are. And I think that's kind of where we got the name from. But to see that athlete was able to do that was phenomenal. It was life-changing.
So how many days was the most recent Able games, and how many events were the children able to participate in, the kids?
So we had a Friday morning, we had like a Play 60 type event for young children with special needs. And then Friday afternoon, we did this thing called the Celebrity Face Off. I had some of my NFL friends and CrossFit friends in town, and it was kind of like a pep rally. You just did fun things with sponsors, and each sponsored team had a special needs adult and a special needs teenager, and they got to compete in fun games like a relay with an egg on a spoon and kind of like a dodgeball type thing and a tug of war, that kind of stuff, kind of just to allow the sponsors to get their employees around people with special needs and how to work with them and all that kind of stuff. And then Saturday, Sunday was the competitions. It was all day Saturday, all day Sunday. It was 5 events. So we had 5 classes. In fitness competitions, RX is like the top tier, and then you have scaled, then you have novice, and then you had special needs adult and special needs child, which is essentially teenagers. So there's five groups, 5 events apiece. We had, almost 200 athletes, 90 at least. I think it was 90 athletes with special needs and almost 300 athletes total. So it was awesome.
Wow. So how emotional has this last couple weeks been for you as far as the strides you've taken with the kids there back home, the able games, how much this has grown, and now you're a dad?
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks. We had set the deadline or the date for the able games a year in advance, and then a couple months later we found out we were pregnant, and the due date was the Monday after the able game. So my wife, who was full term, 9 months pregnant, she went to the gala on Thursday night, both things Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She did amazing. She was a rock star, and everybody there, just couldn't believe how awesome she did. And then Monday came, and our daughter didn't quite come yet, and she was about 4 days late. So then we got a couple days to catch our breath and kind of reset and get ready for our baby girl to come.
So Connor, how important was it not only to get the games off, but now this thing's expanding? Like you talked about getting into the schools now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool, like even the coolest part, 'cause it came about so organically. It was just a need that was there, and a niche that TNT and our idea could kind of fit. So it worked out. And I think that's the coolest part. It's just so organic. Nothing was forced. It was just a need that we saw, and we kind of capitalized on it, and really filling that need to help as many people as possible.
And you said how many kids participated? You said like 300, right?
We had 300 athletes, so that ranged from RX to kids with special needs. The special needs kids and adults, we had 90. I think 90 special needs athletes competing.
WynnBET is now live in New Jersey, and they're bringing the excitement of Wynn Las Vegas to online sports betting. Get in on all your favorite teams, players, and sports, from boosted parlays to live in-game odds on every major sport. They have what you need to win. Sign up today to receive a special offer, risk-free $1,000 sports bet. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com to start winning. WynnBET, an official sportsbook and gaming partner of the New York Jets. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in New Jersey. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117.
All right. So I wanted to get back to you a little bit as far as your day. Like are you still a killer in the weight room? Because it's funny. You mentioned somebody in terms of back in Missouri getting on the bench. Didn't you once tear a pec trying to bench 500 plus?
I did. Yeah. I was on my way to set the school record, and I got a little cocky, and I didn't quite get my back right to do a heavy bench, and I thought I was just going to bench 500 pounds like it was nothing, and I was wrong, and I tore my pec. But I did manage to get the squat record for the weight room.
And what was the squat record?
So we did 5 rep maxes, and I did 690 for 5 reps, which if you do the algorithm or whatever mathematical, to figure out your 1 rep max, it came out to about just over 800 pounds. But I've never put 800 pounds on my back. I've done about 750, I think, is my best 1 rep.
That's legitimately crazy. You said 690. So how many plates on each side?
So we had a bigger bar. So it was a big 70-pound bar. So it's a lot thicker, so it wouldn't bend quite as much. And I had 300-pound plates on each side, and then a 45 on each side, and some smaller ones. So it would have been 690 would be what would that be? About 8 plates on each side if you did it like just 45s. Pretty sure that's right. Quick meathead math in my head. I think it's eight plates.
Man, that is ridiculous because I was thinking when you're talking
Or
690,
7.
maybe once, but you're doing it 5 times?
Yeah, I did it for 5 reps. Then I got excited, thought I was cool, went to rip my shirt off, and I, like, ripped my shirt off, and then my belt was too tight, almost passed out. It was a whole deal, but, it was fun. It was exciting. Had the whole football team in the weight room. It was a Friday. We'd been getting hyped. It was a really cool experience.
Hey, let me ask you how painful the torn pec was.
Wasn't too bad. Luckily, I had great coaches. One of our coaches had trained at Westside Barbell, and as soon as the bar hit my chest and he saw my elbow kind of tweak out and said the bar go up, he knew instantly that I had started tearing my pec. So he grabbed the bar and saved me from a lot worse injury. So it was a grade 2. Didn't have to have surgery. Just got a pec half held on by some scar tissue right now. So. But no, it could have been a lot worse if I didn't have such great spotters there and coaches.
Oh my God. How much time off do you give yourself during the off season?
I love to work out. So I kind of, maybe a week. This year is a little different with my knee, but normally I take about a week of not really doing anything, and then kind of slowly build back in, and do, more of a 45 to an hour workout, and then just kind of slowly add exercises and sets on as I go, through the off season. But no, I love it. I love working out. I love the grind. So it's my getaway. I need that part of my day. So I don't take too much time off.
What are you listening to when you're working out?
Depends. It depends on the day. If it depends on the exercise I'm doing at the time. It depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm doing heavy squats, it's, heavy metal, some Godsmack, like, kind of like I call, like, it's more like Lil Jon, like the high tempo rap. There's nothing like, so in Mizzou when you're maxing out squats, they just played "Throw It Up" by Lil Jon for all day. All day it was on. So that song comes on, it's time to squat some heavy weight.
Hey, what do you attribute your durability in the National Football League? We're going to get to your knee in a second, but 78 career games, 67 starts. You played in 15 games last year. You had an amazing durability run before missing a couple games. What do you attribute that to?
Uh, well, one, a little bit of luck, some good genetics, and then taking care of your body. The way I train is to try to make it so that is anything that I can do in the off season to really build my body and build that durability aspect of it. I do. I kind of try to incorporate that in my training as much as I can, and I think a big aspect that a lot of younger athletes don't understand is the mobility aspect. It's not being truly flexible, but being mobile. So I do a ton of mobility work and try to do everything I can that way to, if you get in those odd positions where you might get hurt, you should have the mobility to be able to withstand that and to a point, obviously, to not get hurt, and just kind of try to do that with the training.
Interesting. You say mobility work. When you're talking about mobility work, what are some important exercises for you as an offensive lineman?
To me, the biggest are a full snatch and a full clean. Really catching it in the bottom of that position, bottom of the squat. You're able to have your ankles at full dorsiflexion, your knees at fully flexed position, your hips at a fully flexed position, and handle a lot of weight. And then snatch, it's the same thing for your knees, hips, and ankles, plus and your back, but you're adding your shoulders into it. It's a movement that, posted on Instagram, and you get people commenting, "Oh, it's so bad for your back," at this, that, and the other. But you can see it on film. I'll get in an odd position where I'm maybe a little bit bent in a weird angle and stuff, but I'm able to have the strength in an odd position, to kind of come out of that, withstand the block, and at the end of the day, for the most part, come out a little bit, injury free. Obviously, you can't prevent every single injury, but there's a lot of other things too. Just you need to stretch, you need to do all that kind of stuff too. But it's snatches and cleans have been the biggest thing, in my opinion, to help me be at where I am in my career and stay injury free.
WynnBET is now live in New Jersey, and they're bringing the excitement of Wynn Las Vegas to online sports betting. Get in on all your favorite teams, players, and sports, from boosted parlays to live in-game odds on every major sport. They have what you need to win. Sign up today to receive a special offer, risk-free $500 sports bet. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com to start winning. WynnBET, an official sportsbook and gaming partner of the New York Jets. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in New Jersey. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117.
You alluded to it before. How is the knee, and are things on schedule right now for you?
I'm 100%. Been running, been squatting, jumping, cleaning, snatching. I'm back to be able to play a game. If if it was season, I would be 100% practicing every day and playing every snap. So I feel really good. I spent most of the off season in Jersey rehabbing. As the MCL was kind of the injury that bit the O-line this year, and so they had healed quite a few of them, and so I trusted that staff for any injury, but especially this one because of how many they had healed this year. So stayed in Jersey. I got back to almost 100% before I left, and then came back to North Dakota for the Able Games and to have the baby, and then we're headed back to Jersey.
Awesome. What have you thought of the Jets offseason to date? Most notably, what's going to be happening next to you on either side? AVT going to move over to right guard, and you pick up a Pro Bowler at left guard in Laken Tomlinson.
Yeah, I know. If you watch the talking heads of football, they don't always talk about the Jets offseason. Maybe we haven't had the blockbuster trades or whatever, the crazy offseason it's been. But in my opinion, the Jets have had the best offseason in terms of patching the places that we need to be patched, and I've been very impressed with this offseason. Every move has made me happy. So to have a Pro Bowler next to you, it's going to be hard to beat. And then obviously AVT is on a fast track to that Pro Bowl level, and for a guy at his age and athleticism, for him switching left to right isn't a big deal. So I'd expect another an even better year out of AVT, and then Laken has been in this system for his I think his whole career, and with JB every year except for last, I'm pretty sure. So for him to come in, he's not a what I would say he's definitely not a greenhorn in this system. So he'll come in and instantly be a leader and actually have more experience in this offensive system than anybody else. So as an offensive line wise, we're in great shape. I think if you look on paper, we have to be one of the better offensive lines on paper. So we just need to come out and make sure we prove that the paper's telling the truth.
Yeah, have you been able to talk to Laken at all after he signed with the Jets? Obviously, if you had a busy offseason, maybe you guys have exchanged texts or something like that.
Yep, yeah, we've texted a couple times. We have the group chat. We have the O-line group chat going. It's always a good time in the O-line group chat. It'll be quiet for a week, and then it'll pick up for a week, and some good conversation is had in the O-line group chat for sure.
Last year, let's talk about you individually. Was that your best year in the NFL? And if so, why would you say that?
Yeah, I think it was my best year in the NFL. I fit well in this system. This system plays to my strengths. And then, it's just I was I had the most confidence going into the year. My body was the best it had been going into a season, and everything kind of clicked last year, and I look to have an even better season this year. I've this going into year 7 in the NFL, which someone had asked me that a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't said it yet, and I was like, man, 7 sounds old. 6 didn't sound old. 7 sounds old. But I'm going into year 7, but I've had 6 offensive coordinators, 6 O-line coaches. So this will be my first year in the exact same system with the exact same offensive coordinator and the exact same O-line coach. So I'm really excited to see how I can take my game to the next level. I get to spend, the next 2 months building on what I had last year instead of restarting. So I'm really excited to build upon last year and kind of go from there.
What about the kid behind you and Zach Wilson? How much Did your communication maybe improve over the course of a year just by playing with each other? And also, what did you like from him? Maybe what you saw on the field or off the field?
Yeah, I think Zach's going to have a phenomenal year. You saw it as the year went on, his confidence grow, his playmaking ability grow. And so, he has the ability to make that huge play. And that's what makes, quarterbacks in this league special. And as the year went on, he also got like that. I think naturally he's a playmaker. And then as the year went on, he got better at being more systematic, when that big play is not there, just taking the check down and moving on and getting that building up to that big play instead of trying to make that highlight, Sports Center play every single play. It takes a maturity to to let that build and capitalize when that opportunity comes, and when that opportunity is not there, to take the easy couple of yards and move on. And that's really what, in my opinion, what you saw grow from Zach. And then our communication's great. He and I have a great relationship, and whether it's on the field, off the field, in meetings, he and I communicate really, really well. So I'm really excited for this year, whether that be because the O-line, you got MC back healthy, you got Zach back, we got some weapons on the outside, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think there's a crazy stat that we looked up just today. We're talking about it, that the Jets were the second team since the merger in 1970 to have rookies lead them in receiving yards, like you mentioned, Elijah Moore, in rushing yards, Michael Carter, and then passing yards in Zach
Yeah.
Wilson. So this is a young team with some talent on it.
Yeah, and then one of our best offensive linemen is also a rookie. So to have an offense built around essentially rookies, for lack of a better term, and to have them going into year two with the same system, same coaches, same building, and then adding the pieces around them that are needed to really take it to the next level, I think our offense could be really special, or will be.
Hey, give
really
me
special.
give me your favorite Robert Saleh story from year one.
So I don't know if I can tell the exact story, but
Come on, we're all friends here.
It was a team meeting, and we were in Green Bay, and the story that Saleh told was awesome. And so my favorite thing, I'll just say that my favorite thing about Saleh is how he teaches in kind of a almost like a parable kind of way, for if that makes sense. Like, he tells great stories, and they all have great meaning, and more than just on the field meaning. Like, he's really leading men, and because there are some of the guys in the league are young, and they still need that, how to be a great man example, and Saleh's that. So his stories, whether they're the night before games or in this case the day of a joint practice, they're awesome, and I think he's a great leader, and I really enjoy playing for him.
Something that's always struck with me about Robert is that he never calls any of the guys boys or kids or rookies. He calls everybody young men.
Yeah,
and
he's a leader of men.
Yeah. Connor, okay, you just talked about it before. Man, you've been in the league for a few years now. You got a birthday coming up. Let's go back to 2017 real quick. What was your draft experience like? You're taken in the 5th round out of Missouri. I don't know if everybody remembers this, but it's not like you were playing center at Missouri before you were drafted.
No, my whole career, I've always kind of been like the backup center that plays guard. So I actually had to play left tackle my senior year at college, which, especially in the SEC, being 6'4", 300 pounds on a good day, 305 maybe. I'm a little small. I got arms that, if a draft analyst was talking about me at tackle, would say incredibly short. Good for a center, incredibly short for a tackle. So me playing left tackle my senior year didn't do me any favors in the draft. Then I went and got hurt at the Senior Bowl when I was supposed to the first 30 minutes of the first practice. And that's I was using that to kind of cement that I was an NFL guard. So I went in 5th round of the draft, came into the Broncos. Little adversity my first year at the Broncos. But ever since then, I was always kind of been that backup center that was playing guard. And then unfortunately, one of my best friends in my 3rd year got hurt, Matt Paradis. And like I said, I was the backup center playing guard, so I slid over to center in the middle of the game. And the rest is history. And I really enjoy center. And to be honest, I've always felt like it was naturally the position that I would excel at the best. And I just never quite had the opportunity to play. I had a great center in college named Evan Boehm, who's in the NFL. And then got to the Broncos, and Matt Paradis was there, so I wasn't going to be center with him there. But once I had that opportunity, I really capitalized on it and kind of cemented myself there. And it's the position that I really enjoy.
Yeah, you're kind of like the overlooked piece up there as this offensive line moves ahead. Hey, will you pay attention draft weekend, or a veteran in your shoes is kind of like, hey, wake me up after the draft is over now. I know what I have to do to get ready.
I enjoy the draft. It's a cool experience. I remember it and how emotional it was and how special it was when I was going through it. The stories you hear about, ESPN or whoever, NFL does a great job of filling everybody in on the background and because sometimes we get a little depersonalized, I guess, and it really kind of brings the person into the picture in the draft, in my opinion. And I love hearing the stories and seeing the adversity everybody's fought through to get to where they are. So I enjoy it, and plus you like to see who your rookies are going to be, who's going to be buying you rookie dinner. So I enjoy it to watch it and see how it goes, and to see who your new teammates are, and yeah, I enjoy watching.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for this organization, right? With the 2 top 10 picks, the 4 in the top 38, 9 overall. And we were just talking about before, a few of those guys in that 2021 draft class. If you get another draft class like the one you had last year, do you think you guys are going to be well on your way to what Joe Douglas said, playing meaningful games in December?
Yeah, I mean, if you can hit on 2 drafts in a row like we did last year, you're set up for a solid 5, 6, 7, 8 years of really good football ahead. And I think Joe D, his team, Coach Saleh, all the coaches, they're the right guys that are there to do it. And it's kind of funny. I was at the end of the season doing my exit interviews. I was hurt, and I kind of went in and did interviews a little early, so I didn't have to be there on the last day taking everybody's time. And I was sitting there talking to Coach Saleh, and I was like, just out of curiosity, like, what do you look for when you draft a guy? And he was like, he's like, I don't look for who has the most potential per se. He's like, I look for the guy that's going to hit his highest potential, or who's most likely to hit his full potential. He's like, I want a team full of guys that are hitting and operating at their highest potential, not guys that have the most potential. And I thought it was awesome. And that, like, to me, says that he's drafting guys on who they are, not what they can do. And I think that's a great way to build a very successful team, a great way to build a championship team. And as you saw from the 2021 draft, Joe D and Coach Saleh and all the everybody, the hundreds of people that go into all that kind of stuff, did a phenomenal job. And I just see them building on that next year with that basis in mind, when you get Joe D and Saleh operating at an extremely high level and really picking the guys that are going to fulfill that and reach their potential every day, you're gonna win a lot of football games.
Wow, we're going to leave it at that. Well said. Connor McGovern, such an exciting offseason for you, your family, the people out there in North Dakota who you're helping. Congratulations on all of that. And if we don't see you before your birthday, happy birthday, my man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm getting old. Not quite 30, but almost. Getting there. Definitely getting there.
Thanks, buddy.